The stone that's in there is holding it out. It's too big. Okay.
Do you need to be plugged in?
I don't need to be plugged in, no.
Okay. Well, I've got.
Are we at... It's not quite 8 o'clock yet, is it?
Fine,
5 minutes too? Okay. 5 minutes.
Why are you throwing this away?
Previous design that I don't have anymore.
Do they stick at all?
They do. I could use them for myself, I guess, but I can't sell them.
Why not?
Can't get into it right now, but
Are they? Can you give them away to friends?
probably could.
I
But
think you should.
you can go upstairs.
Yeah.
Way too noisy.
Okay. Do you know how to add things on Google Calendar?
Not the topic for right now.
So what is this from?
It'll be live on the channel.
Oliver, come. Sit. So is this like an hour then?
No, it might take half an hour. If that. Okay.
Oliver, come. Okay, so
Hey folks, thanks for coming tonight. I'm Eric, and this is the tabletop spot, and I hope everybody can hear me. Didn't quite have time for a sound check, so if you can't hear me, put it up in the chat. We'll take care of it from there, hopefully. But anyway, you are here for airbrushing, so let's get started on that instead of staring at me for no reason. All right. So, what's that?
it's on Facebook, right?
It's on YouTube. Anywho, this is the terrain piece we're going to do. It's in 2 pieces, and it is made from Hearst Arts mold. It's made out of a Hearst Arts mold. These are the tavern molds, and then this is some kind of rock mold for the base that he's got. Either way, and then a couple of Warhammer bits as well, like the bird and the orc mask, or the flag, or whatever. So, and this is going to go on, this is my rock wall for Captain Gunbjorn in my Troll Blood army. And so I've already primed it black, and I just use Vallejo primer. And the first thing we want to do is come up with kind of a medium gray with maybe, I don't know, I kind of like a brown undertone, and so like a cold gray from Vallejo or Troll Blood highlight, you know, is pretty good as well. And then the paint is too thick for itself, or too thick for the airbrush itself, so we also need some thinner And I like this Aztec stuff that you can get at Hobby Lobby. I just started using it maybe a couple weeks ago, and so far it's my favorite, so I'm going to keep going. And then we just need something to lighten up as we go along, so I've got Wicked, what do they call that, Detail White. So we really only need these two things right here.
If you want me to help field questions, you'll have to log on to wherever you are.
It should just show as being live if you go to the channel.
I am on the channel, subscribe.
Maybe. You should just be able to get on automatically though. Are you in the app or just a browser?
Browser.
Try the YouTube app. Either way. So yeah. So we're going to take some of our thinner. And I go roughly 1-to-1 with the thinner and the paint. And that can vary depending on what you're using. And but for now, we're just going to do that. And then I take my thumb right over the top, give it a shake. And then if to mix it up a little better, take your finger, give it some air, and you'll see it bubble. And then it should be pretty good from there. So so anyway, okay, so first things first, we're going to take our piece and we're going to orient the airbrush at about 45 degrees to the piece. And we're going to give it kind of an overall coating of the cold gray all over. And I'm not going to worry about position of the sun or anything like that. We're just going to go all over. And it's going to be real basic and real easy. And we're just going to try and create some shadows on this thing. And I don't care if I have paint on my hands. And so I'm giving it air, but I'm just giving it a little bit of paint because if it goes on too quickly, it'll run. So if you've ever done any painting before, and even with like brushes and rollers, if it goes on too thick, then it runs. Oh, and what I didn't do is you always give it a test. And see, actually I'm not thin enough yet. Or something is wrong here because I'm not getting a lot of paint. Oh boy. I just tested this before we started too. That's really unfortunate. Now it's too thick. I didn't thin it enough. Or there was a chunk of something getting in there. There we go. That's better. So anyway, as I was saying, we're going to hold it about 45 degrees and just give it a good overall coat. And these are rocks, so the kind of brown gray works pretty well. But you can see already it's much lighter on top,
Okay, you need to bring
much
your
darker from the bottom.
You need to bring your stuff down to the middle.
Right here?
Yeah, yep.
Okay.
Right there, that's the middle of the screen right there.
Okay, so I'll try to stay on screen a little better. But you can see it's a lot darker on the bottom, and a lot
Yeah.
lighter on top.
Tap the green table like you just did and push it away.
What?
Tap the green square and push it away like you just did.
I don't know what you mean.
Move the rectangle on the table.
Like this?
Yes. A little
Okay.
bit more. Now go down.
I think it's fine. I can't get any closer. The tripod isn't short enough. Okay, so, and we're going to do that to all four sides.
You want them to see your paint gun?
Doesn't matter.
If you
That's okay. I'm using a Badger Sotar 2020, and you can usually find these for, I think I got it for $80 on Amazon on sale one year. So it's worked out pretty well. And you can get, they don't do, oh, look at that. See, I had paint on my hands and I ruined it. We can fix that later. The, what is it? I lost my train of thought. They don't have needle sizes. They have like small, medium, and large or something. But I'm using the medium needle for this. And then we'll just hit the bird and the top there. And I think for our first layer, we'll let that dry for a few minutes. And then we'll go to the bottom here. And I think I said I wanted to try and do a little bit of object source lighting by the fire. And so we're going to have a wall here and a wall here. And we're going to try to avoid hitting the middle with paint. If we do a little bit, that's okay. We can clean it up later on. But I'm also going to try and cause it to angle out a little bit right where the wall would be. And I may have screwed up with putting the fire on first, but we'll see about that.
Can you zoom in?
No, I can't. So we're going to do, the middle as bright as we can, and we'll actually go back to this with the with brighter whites as we go along. But for now, I think that's what we're going to do right there. And then for the barrels and whatnot, we'll just go back to what we were doing before. And then we're just going to hit the sides real quick, real light. We want it kind of dark, I think, or I do. Personal taste might be different. All right. And then we'll hit the beer can real bright on top there. And that will be good, I think, for this color. And I've got quite a bit extra. Normally I'd try to do a bunch of minis at once or whatever at once till I use it up. But in this case, into the can it goes. And we are going to mix in our detail white from Createx. You only need like a drip or two. And a little more thinner. And never mind the rumbling buffalo that are my dogs running around. There we go. So now instead of a 45-degree angle, and you can see how that has darkened up quite a bit since it was even wet. So we're going to go maybe instead of a 45, we're going to bring it up a little bit more to, I don't know, 75 maybe. I'm just estimating here. And then give it a quick test. There we go. So here's what we had. Here's what we got now. That's quite a bit different. So we're just going to, again, same process. And you want it thin. Number one, it flows to the airbrush nice, but two, you don't want to go too fast either, because if you get globs of paint, it's easy for it to kind of, I don't know, burst, I suppose. And then you can get where you got a glob of something you don't like so much. And look, missed a spot right there, and I spilled. So, oh well, the show goes on. And so we're just going to go at it again, just like this. And so the theory here is that the sharper the angle of our airbrush, the less it hits. And so the previous color still has a little bit remaining that doesn't get covered up. And so then we gradually work our way brighter and brighter and brighter over top of these, the rounded rocks and things like that. And so when you look at it, it has sort of a natural gradient to it. The further down, like the top of the rock here is a lot brighter than the bottom. And it's curved that way. And so the paint isn't going to get all the way down. And my lovely assistant had to go take care of something with the kids. So if there's a question, we will get to it when she gets back. Because I cannot do two things at once. Ever. Okay. So, and again, we're just going to repeat the process for down here. And actually for the fire, probably should get that. Is there anybody in the chat? No? No? Okay. All right. So there we go. All right. And so if you've ever done anything with any color theory, and odds are you probably haven't. Most people haven't. It's sort of a trick on the eye to make things that are elevated higher brighter. And so, like, we're going to make the top of the chimney really bright. And we're going to make the top of that barrel a lot brighter. And I'll probably fill in that cup later on and the bread and stuff like that. But we'll make it, and it just, I don't know, for some reason, it just adds interest to what you're doing. So, and so then if we add like that, and we can maybe dry fit it a little bit and see how our lighting looks. And I think I might expand it out just a little bit. And then, of course, we really probably should light up where the fire actually is, because that would be really bright. Okay, so that I think is looking pretty good. And then, get rid of the paint again. I might hit it with a little bit of cleaner. This is a homemade concoction that I've got. It's I think it's something like 50% wiper fluid, 40% alcohol, and then rubbing alcohol, and then a little bit of what do you call that stuff? Glycerin. Yes, that stuff right there. Or something like that. Maybe it's 70%, 70-30, and then a little bit of glycerin or something. So either way, that's just to clean it out a little bit. And then we're just going to add more white. Oh. And I'm using way too much for what I'm doing, but that's okay. And again, you can see I'm spilling, and that's brighter yet. And then again, we just repeat what we're doing. And we will hit a few spots individually, and we're going, actually, we're not really repeating it. We're getting steeper and steeper the brighter we go. So instead of 45 like I started, I'm more at like 90 at this point. Okay. Ah, dang it. I think we're getting some clogs. Or something that didn't get mixed very well. There we go. And we just work our way around again. Very steep angle this time. And I think that will pretty much do it. For that piece. And so we'll just I'm a sloppy painter, as much as I hate to admit it. Anyway, and that's really all there is to it. Just the lighter the colors get, the steeper your angle of attack, and you work your way around the piece. And then where you want to add extra, like for the lighting on the fire, you can just hit that extra with your whites. And that is that. And now I'll glue this together and probably use it tomorrow night. Not going to be done, but it's good enough for now. And then now you can go back. It's already shaded. You pretty much only need, at this point, maybe if you wanted to, you could give it like a black wash or something to bring back some of the detail, and then maybe a dry brush on that. But then, you know, I just use glazes of different colors that go on real thin, a few layers, and that'll look just fine on the tabletop. So if you have any questions, and I think now's the time. Otherwise, I'm going to wrap it up, and we'll see you next time. No? Okay. So that's that. Thanks for coming, and we'll see you later. Let's see here. How do I get out?